Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This video is our second of a series of short videos in which we are highlighting 15 mistakes to avoid in a new marriage. It is for you if you are newly married or you are in the process of starting a family of your own. We also hope that senior married ones who have been married for years may find some amusement if they come across this video, inshallah ta'ala. In our previous video, we highlighted mistake number 1 and number 2. Can you remember any of them? If so, please do me a favor and mention them in the comments below to remind one another. Today, we are going to highlight mistake number 3 and number 4. Mistake number 3 is unwillingness to learn to cope with the imperfection of your spouse as a newly married Muslim. In mistake number 2, before this, we mentioned that failing to adjust into a new system where you have to change your behavior, where you have to change some attitudes, where you have to change some habits. When you wake up, when you go to sleep, how you do some things, how you probably take care of your personal hygiene, and what have you. And we emphasize in that video that that is for you, not for the third party. It becomes for the third party when they come across this video or when they are also in the process of learning to better themselves. So now we want to focus on yourself, on myself and on yourself. So I'm focusing on improving myself. You are focusing on improving yourself. Just because you are focusing on improving yourself doesn't mean that your spouse must also change everything to suit you right away. It is not like that. So focus on yourself at the moment, and remember, no matter how perfect you become, no matter how good you become, you will still remain imperfect. You yourself, you will remain imperfect. What more about your spouse? And no one is perfect. We will always have imperfections to deal with. So while you are working to adjust into a new system, which is called marriage life, expect imperfection from your spouse. It is something that you can never overcome, especially when it comes to character, especially when it comes to attitudes. Yahi, a man may be snoring like a horse, a woman may be snoring like a donkey. These are things you will never get to know before marriage. Despite identifying the 4 qualities, if you find it in anyone, the person becomes a best potential candidate for a happy marriage, which we mentioned in the two videos before this video. If you check in the account and scroll through, you will come across them. Despite all that, so the person is perfect. When you see them, you feel good. The person is perfect. You wish your children will grow and be like them, like him or like her. The person is perfect. You can trust them. The person is perfect. Anytime you look at them, you can love them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at the end of the day, they are humans. I mentioned the example of snoring, just an example. There are many other examples which you will discover in your spouse, which you do not like. And just like you will discover those which you do not like, be mindful and take note that they will also discover some imperfections in you which they also do not like. So while you are working on improving to adjust into a new system, your spouse will have so many imperfections. Learn to deal with them. These imperfections may be deal breakers, but they are not necessarily deal breakers, especially if your spouse has gone through the 4 qualities and passed most of them, if not all of them, which we agreed in a previous video. So mistake number 3 is failing to learn to cope with the imperfections of your spouse. Learn to cope with them, and you will be happy, inshallah ta'ala. Mistake number 4, expecting your spouse to be a carbon copy of yourself or your personality. This mistake can be deadly. Why is it so? Ya akhi, no two persons are the same. You and your brother, from the same womb, from the same mother, from the same father, from the same DNA, are not the same. You as a woman, you and your sister, from the same mother, from the same father, from the same womb, from the same DNA, you are not the same. Even two twins, twins from the same womb who were born on the same day are not the same. What more about you and your spouse coming from two different genders, coming from two different families, expecting to replicate one another and be a true carbon copy? It is not possible. Expecting to achieve that is deadly. Expecting to achieve that is an indication that the marriage is sooner going to break. May Allah protect for you your family. You have your personal interest. Your spouse has his or her personal interest. You have your hobbies. Your spouse has his or her personal hobbies. You have your preferences. Your spouse also has his or her preferences. Learn to respect that. In some situations, you may want to provide space for them to explore in those, as long as they do not displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya akhi, even when it comes to ibadah, besides what Allah has made obligatory upon us, we should not expect our spouses to observe all ibadah just because they are encouraged. If you fast on Mondays and Thursdays, it will be beautiful if your spouse has the ability to join you. But it shouldn't be a problem at all if they are not willing to join you. They may be engaged with other ibadah, which you are not. They may be, mashallah, observing the sunan after the fara'id, which you may not be doing. They should not expect you also to do the same, even though it will be good if you are able to do so. And so applies with any form of preferences in life, in ibadah, and what have you. Understanding this makes your household, your home, a dynamic. Someone is into Surah Al-Baqarah, someone is into Surah Al-Kahf, someone is into Monday and Thursday fasting, someone is into fasting on 13, 14, 15 of every lunar month, someone is into charity, someone is into dhikr, someone is into this. So your home becomes, mashallah, colorful when it comes to righteousness, when it comes to observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to kindness, when it comes to any other good as far as Muslims are concerned. So do not expect your spouse to be a carbon copy of you. If you want to have happiness in your marriage, you want your marriage to be an eternal one, you want your marriage to be something that is lived in dunya and extended to Jannah, may Allah preserve for you your marriage and make it a gateway to Jannah for you and your loved ones. Allahumma ameen. If you have watched to this point, we have covered so far mistake number 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you haven't seen the previous one, please do watch them so that this one will make more sense to you. Since you have watched to this point, you may want to guess what will be our next 2 mistakes to avoid in a new marriage. If your guess is right, I may be mentioning it, inshallah ta'ala, in our next video. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserves for you your family, preserves for you your marriage, protects your marriage for you against all evil, against any family breaking matters or issues. I also pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us what it takes to better and purify our dunya for the best interest of our akhirah. Until the next, I leave you in His protection. See you in Jannah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah